welcome to the Deep Dive. You're here, I imagine, because you really care about something pretty crucial. Speaking English fluently and, maybe more importantly, confidently. Perhaps you're studying for a big exam or you're trying to advance your career in, this global world we live in.
Right.
Or maybe it's just that dream of expressing yourself freely, connecting with people. Without that knot of hesitation you feel sometimes.
Absolutely. That feeling is so common.
Whatever the reason, I really see you. I hear that aspiration. And this deep dive, well, it's made exactly for that journey.
Right.
Today, our mission really is to cut through all the noise, all the advice out there, some good, some maybe not so effective.
With the platitudes.
Exactly. And offer what actually works. Forget the memorize 100 words a day stuff. We're going beyond the usual tips here.
We really are. And look, this isn't about abstract linguistic theory, is it?
No, not at all.
This deep dive, it draws its insights from a really well-curated source, a guide called 12 Ways to Master English Speaking Confidence.
Yeah.
And what we're discussing today, these aren't just ideas. They're actionable strategies, things that have genuinely worked for thousands of learners around the world. Real practical stuff.
Battle-tested, you might say.
Exactly. Battle-tested. So, as we get into this, really keep an open mind. Prepare for some potential aha moments, things that might just shift how you think about learning English.
Right. Change your whole approach, maybe.
Could do. We're here to guide you through these insights.
Absolutely. So our goal today, together, is to pull out the most important bits of wisdom from this material, kind of distill it down.
The key takeaways.
Yeah, think of it like a shortcut, a way to get truly well informed on how to tackle those speaking fears, turn hesitation into flow.
That's the goal. Flow.
So yeah, get comfy, maybe grab a notebook, open up a notes app, whatever works for you. Let this be your moment for learning, for insight, maybe some fresh motivation.
Definitely.
Let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
All right, let's dive into this first tip. It's huge. Speak every single day, even if you're alone.
Sounds simple, right? Almost too simple.
Deceptively simple. Speak every day. But then straight away, people think, but I don't have anyone to talk to. There are no native speakers near me.
That's the number one objection, isn't it?
It really is. It's the most common hurdle. But the source is really clear on this, almost emphatic. You must talk to yourself. Seriously.
Yeah, it sounds a bit strange at first, maybe, but it's powerful.
Totally. Imagine just narrating your day in English.
Yeah.
Out loud.
Like a running commentary.
Exactly. You're in the kitchen making coffee. Say it. Okay, now I'm grinding the beans. The water's boiling now. I'll pour it in the cup.
We're walking outside. The sky looks a bit cloudy. Hope it doesn't rain.
Right, or that car's going pretty fast. You're basically providing your own input and output, right? Those key things for learning.
Comprehensible input, productive output, all by yourself.
You absolutely don't need a partner to start this habit. It's foundational.
And what's really fascinating from a sort of neurological perspective is what this actually does.
Yeah. Tell us more.
Well, when you consistently make those English sounds, form those sentences, even just talking to yourself, you're building what we call articulatory muscle memory.
Okay, like physical training.
Exactly like physical training. Think of a musician practicing scales. The fingers learn the movements, right? They become automatic.
Got it.
Same idea. You're training the muscles in your mouth, your tongue, your throat to make English sounds efficiently.
Huh. Never thought of it quite like that.
But it goes deeper. It actually strengthens the neural pathways in your brain, the connections between a concept like hunger and the English words, I'm hungry.
So it helps bypass translation.
Precisely. It promotes direct English thought. It's a form of active recall. You're retrieving the language, not just recognizing it.
Like testing yourself instead of just rereading notes.
Exactly. That effort makes the connections stronger, more automatic. Neuroscientists call it automaticity, producing language without thinking so hard about it. And if you connect this to the bigger picture, like the source does, it really highlights that consistency. Doing it a little bit every day, even imperfectly, is way more important than trying to be perfect.
Right, perfectionism gets in the way.
Totally. It's how kids learn, isn't it? They just try, they mess up, they try again, they don't wait for the perfect sentence. This daily self-talk literally paves the way for thinking directly in English and speaking more spontaneously. So I'd really urge you, listening now, to think, what daily routine could you use?
Yeah, where could you fit this in?
Maybe your commute.
Yeah.
Doing chores, getting ready in the morning, find that slot.
That's great advice. That consistency over perfection idea is just so freeing.
Isn't it?
And paving neural pathways through self-talk, it makes it feel really concrete. Which leads us perfectly into the second tip, building around that.
Yeah.
Think in English, not in your native language.
Oh, yes, the big one.
This is where it gets really interesting. For a lot of people, this is a total game changer because it hits the root cause of so much hesitation, right? That feeling of words getting stuck.
Yeah, the translation block.
Exactly. Most learners, and it's natural, think in their own language first. They craft the sentence perfectly there, and then they try to translate it, word by painful word, into English.
Yeah.
And that's why you get stuck. That's why conversations feel exhausting.
It's that delay.
Right. The source says, train your brain to think directly in English. Start small, playfully even.
How small are we talking?
Like, instead of thinking the native equivalent of I'm hungry and then translating, just think I'm hungry or think I'll go for a walk. Don't translate Ami Ekon Borobo first, just the English thought.
It's about creating that direct link concept to English.
Exactly.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, this is really about rewiring your whole cognitive process, isn't it?
How so?
Moving from that two-step translation model, native thought, then English conversion, to a direct one-step process. Thought straight into English.
Okay.
Your thoughts are the engine, right? They drive your language. When you skip that translation step, you massively reduce what we call cognitive load.
Cognitive load.
Yeah.
Like brain processing power.
Exactly. Think of your brain like a computer. Translating is like running two heavy programs at once, your native language operating system and the English conversion software.
Okay. That makes sense. Uses up a lot of mental energy.
Huge amounts, which leads to hesitation, feeling tired, maybe feeling like you're not fluent even when you know the words.
Right.
By thinking directly in English, you essentially shut down one program. You free up that brain power for more spontaneity, more flow, better understanding.
That's a powerful analogy.
And the source points out, the more you practice this, the more English stops feeling like this external thing you're translating to and starts becoming the internal operating system for your thoughts.
Wow. Like the default language in your head.
Precisely. It helps you avoid those awkward literal translations too. You start thinking in more natural English patterns.
Makes sense.
And over time, it really can make English feel, well, natural, effortless, less tiring during conversations. You can express complex ideas faster.
So it's really about changing your internal world first.
Fundamentally, I challenge listeners. Notice when you translate today. Reading a sign, planning your next move, reacting to something. Just try to override it with a direct English thought.
It's a marathon, not a sprint though, right?
Absolutely. Every little conscious effort counts.
That's brilliant. Reducing cognitive load, making English the operating system. That really clicks. Now, tip 3. This one can feel, well, a bit awkward at first.
Yeah, this one.
Record yourself speaking and listen back. Okay, I won't lie, it can feel weird, like hearing your voice on an old answering machine message.
Cringy sometimes.
Totally. But the source describes it perfectly. It's like holding up a mirror to your English. It gives you objective feedback. Your own brain filters out while you're speaking.
That's the key, the objectivity.
Yeah. When you listen back, it's amazing what you notice. You'll hear your pronunciation differently. You'll suddenly notice all those filler words, the ums, the yes, the
The fillers jump out.
They really do.
Yeah.
You'll pick up on your intonation, your rhythm, where you pause naturally or unnaturally. But maybe the most powerful part is tracking your growth. The source suggests something really practical. Record yourself for like 1 minute. Talk about your day, your dreams, your favorite food, whatever.
Just a short snippet.
Yeah. Save it, then do it again in a week, then again in a month. The promise is, when you listen back to those older ones,
You'll hear the difference.
you'll be shocked.
Yeah.
How much clearer you sound, how much smoother it is. It might be uncomfortable at first facing where you are now, but it speeds up improvement like crazy.
It really does. And it raises that fascinating question again. Why is discomfort so often necessary for real growth?
Yeah, why is that?
Well, it's because that recording gives you undeniable data, objective feedback. You can't argue with it like you can with your own subjective feeling.
Right, you might think you sound okay, but the recording doesn't lie.
Exactly. It creates this crucial auditory feedback loop. It's vital for speech development, like an athlete watching game replays. Okay. Spotting the mistakes, the inefficiencies.
Precisely. It builds self-awareness. You can pinpoint specific things. Okay, that sound needs work, or my intonation on questions is a bit flat, or wow, I say like a lot.
Turns vague goals like speak better into concrete targets.
Exactly. It makes abstract ideas like pronunciation or fluency tangible, measurable.
Yeah.
It accelerates progress because you know what to work on.
So embrace the cringe.
Embrace the cringe. See it as a sign of genuine effort, real learning. So I'd ask you listening, what's one thing you're curious to find out about your own speaking by trying this? A specific sound, your rhythm, those fillers.
That's a great way to frame it. Makes it less scary. Okay, tip number 4. This is one of my favorites, actually. It's active. It's engaging.
Ah, I know which one you mean.
Shadowing mimic native speakers. The source calls it karaoke for spoken English, which I love.
It's a perfect description.
It really is, but it's karaoke with a serious learning purpose. Here's how it works. You pick some audio or video, a YouTube clip, TED Talk, movie scene, podcast bit with a native speaker. Okay.
You play it, and then this is the crucial bit, you try to speak along with them at the exact same time, like a shadow.
Not just repeating after them, but simultaneously.
Simultaneously. And the key isn't just getting the words right. It's matching their tone, their rhythm, their pauses.
Yeah.
Even their emotion, their speed.
Wow, okay. So really embodying their speech pattern.
Exactly. If they stress a word, you stress it. If their voice goes up at the end of a question, yours does too. If they pause, you pause.
So it's not about perfect pronunciation at first.
Not necessarily. It's about getting the feel, the music of the language. The source suggests starting with slower speakers, then moving to faster ones. It's fun, it's challenging, and like the source says, ridiculously effective.
It really is. And what's fascinating is how it works. Shadowing trains your brain and your mouth to sync up in real time. You're mimicking the prosody.
Prosody, that's the melody of the language, right?
Exactly. The rhythm, the stress, the intonation, the rise and fall, all the stuff that makes speech sound natural and conveys meaning beyond just the words. This is so often overlooked, but it's vital.
Right, sounding natural, not robotic.
Precisely. By imitating, you're not just learning sounds, you're internalizing the whole melodic contour of English.
That makes sense.
And this boosts fluency massively because you're learning natural speech patterns, not just building sentences word by word from grammar rules.
Like absorbing the flow.
Yeah, it builds this deeper, almost subconscious grasp of conversational flow, sentence stress. Plus, it improves your listening too because you get more attuned to those nuances.
Kills two birds with one stone.
Absolutely. The source calls it ridiculously effective because it hits multiple learning pathways at once: listening, speaking, rhythm, intonation. It's about making the sounds naturally.
Just find a speaker you like and just shadow them.
Yeah. Pick a favorite show, a speaker you admire, even an audiobook clip. Start with just a minute or two a day. You'll be amazed how quickly your mouth and brain start working together better.
Great tip. Okay, now we're shifting gears slightly. Section 3 is all about engaging with real people, real language.
Moving beyond solo practice.
Exactly. Tip 5 is crucial for bridging that gap. Use language exchange apps to talk with real people. You know, practicing alone is great, but eventually,
You gotta talk to people.
you got to talk to real people in real conversations. And the amazing thing is, technology makes this so easy now.
These apps are fantastic.
Yeah, the source mentions apps like HelloTalk, Tandem, Speaky. They're game changers. They connect you with language partners all over the world.
And the model is usually reciprocal, right?
That's the genius of it. Often the native English speakers on there want to learn your language, so it's a give and take. You help them for maybe 15 minutes, they help you for 15 minutes.
Takes the pressure off. You're both learners.
Totally. Reduces that feeling of being judged. And the source suggests a great way to ease into it if you're shy. Start with texting,
Okay.
then maybe move to voice notes when you feel braver.
Get used to hearing yourself and them.
Yeah. And then eventually, try live calls, audio or video. It's
Mhm.
often free, it's friendly, and honestly, it feels like making international friends. Because you are.
It turns learning into a social activity.
Exactly. Less isolating, more connecting.
And this really hits on the social dimension of language, doesn't it? Language isn't just rules and words in a vacuum.
No, it's about connection.
It's fundamentally a tool for connection, for building relationships, expressing who you are, understanding culture. These apps offer this invaluable low-stakes space for authentic interaction.
Low stakes is key.
Absolutely. And the psychological comfort knowing your partner is also learning, maybe struggling with your language, that shared vulnerability massively reduces the fear of judgment.
Yeah, you're in it together.
Right. This reciprocal learning builds confidence through real-world use, where the goal is communication, not perfection.
Making mistakes is okay.
It's expected. You overcome that fear of judgment through positive experiences. Plus, you make friends, learn about cultures. It makes the whole thing way more enjoyable and sustainable.
Keeps you motivated.
Definitely. It adds that vital human element. So I'd encourage listeners, think about what kind of partner would suit you. Someone with shared hobbies, similar professional field, or just casual chat practice.
Find the right fit for you. Great point. Okay, and speaking of making things more natural, let's dive into tip 6. Learn phrases, not just words.
This is a big one for sounding natural.
It really is. Now look, vocabulary lists are fine. Knowing words is obviously important.
Foundational.
But phrases, they are a strategic leap. So much better for fluency. Let me explain why this is so key.
Yeah, unpack this.
The source uses a perfect example. Knowing the word interest. Good.
Yeah.
Useful.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing the phrase, I'm interested in photography, that's the magic. That's real-life English.
That's what people actually say.
Exactly. It's how words naturally go together, how grammar works in context. When you learn words and phrases in chunks, you remember them way longer.
Because they're connected to meaning and use.
Right. And you absorb the grammar, the prepositions, without even trying too hard. So the practical shift is huge. Instead of trying to cram 20 random words a day.
Which you'll probably forget.
Exactly. Try learning 5 useful, complete phrases you can actually use tomorrow.
Quality over quantity. Applicability.
That's it.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, it's about understanding that language is often idiomatic. Native speakers rely heavily on what linguists call lexical chunks.
Lexical chunks,
Or,
like pre-made blocks of language.
exactly. Prefabricated units. We don't build every sentence from scratch, word by word. We pull out common expressions, fixed phrases like, how are you doing? Or, on the other hand, or make a decision.
Right, we don't usually say do a decision.
We don't. That's collocation words that naturally go together. Learning phrases teaches you these collocations automatically.
Okay.
And the beauty is it boosts fluency and naturalness because you have these ready-made structures, less hesitation while you search for the next word.
Like having conversational building blocks ready to go.
Precisely. It helps you bypass that literal translation trap again. You sound more authentic, more effortless. Your sentences flow because you're accessing these common patterns.
Allowing you to focus more on the message.
Exactly. You can concentrate on what you want to say, not just how to say it word by word. So I'd suggest focusing on phrases for daily stuff, giving opinions, agreeing, disagreeing.
Things you actually talk about.
Right. Think of a common topic for you. What are 5 useful, natural phrases you could learn for that situation?
That's a really practical way to approach it. Love the idea of chunks.
Okay.
Section 4. This is about embracing challenges and building community.
Getting out there.
Getting out there. Tip 7 is a biggie. Speak in real-life situations. The source is pretty direct. Want to get better? Jump in the water.
No sugarcoating it.
None.
Yeah.
And yeah, this often means stepping outside your comfort zone. It might feel awkward. You might worry people won't understand, maybe even laugh. But why do it?
Because that's where the real learning happens.
Exactly. Every real conversation, every genuine interaction is a powerful lesson. It's where theory becomes a reality. The source gives loads of examples. Go to a shop, order coffee in English, join an online English group chat, start a simple YouTube channel talking about your day.
Small steps, real interactions.
Yeah. The point is, every time you use English when it feels a bit risky, a bit uncomfortable, you're stretching your skills. You're building resilience.
Pushing the boundaries.
And that's how you forge that solid, unshakable confidence that no book or app can give you. It comes from doing.
Absolutely. And this really highlights the power of experiential learning. Confidence isn't something you read about. It's something you build through experience.
You're trying and succeeding, or even trying and messing up.
Exactly. Through repeated success and through overcoming challenges in authentic situations. It links to the idea of productive struggle.
Productive struggle.
Yeah, that period of effort, maybe even difficulty, that leads to deeper learning. When you have to use the language in real time, it sticks differently.
Forces you to retrieve things quickly.
And adapt. It cements the knowledge way better than passive learning. It also highlights the importance of creating slightly higher stakes situations for yourself.
Even if you create them yourself.
Yeah, even self-imposed stakes. That little bit of pressure pushes you to use what you know and quickly shows you what you don't know yet.
Moves you from just knowing about English to actually using it.
Precisely. It builds resilience that I can handle this feeling. So the challenge is, identify one small, real-life interaction you can try this week. What's one situation you can bravely step into?
Take that leap. It's often the hardest step, isn't it?
It is, but it's the most rewarding.
And right alongside stepping out there is tip 8. Accept mistakes and learn from them. Let's be real. Everyone hates making mistakes.
It's universal.
That fear of sounding stupid, being judged, it's probably the biggest single barrier for so many people.
Stops people from even trying.
Exactly. But here's the secret, as the source puts it so well. Mistakes aren't failures. They're proof you're trying. Evidence of effort.
That's a great mindset shift.
Isn't it? Think about babies learning to talk. They mess up constantly. Wrong sounds, weird grammar, and they still become fluent speakers.
Yeah, they don't apologize for their bad baby talk.
They absolutely don't.
Yeah.
No one expects learners to be perfect. So the crucial shift is stop saying sorry for your English.
Oh, that's a big one. Sorry for my bad English.
Yeah, ditch that. Instead, adopt a mindset of, I'm learning, I'm improving, because you are.
Yeah.
Mistakes aren't failures, they're feedback. Signposts.
Indispensable feedback mechanisms, and this really gets to our relationship with failure. In language learning, mistakes aren't failures, they are, maybe more accurately, diagnostic data points.
Data points, I like that.
Yeah, they show you exactly where the gaps are in your understanding, pronunciation, grammar. They give you specific things to work on.
So it's about having a growth mindset, not a perfectionist one.
Absolutely. Believing you can improve through effort versus thinking you're just bad at languages. When you forgive your own mistakes, you free up so much mental energy.
Energy that was being wasted on anxiety and fear.
Precisely. Less anxiety means you're more willing to try speaking again. It creates this positive loop. Try it, maybe make a mistake, learn from it, try again, slightly better.
More attempts mean more learning.
Exactly. Think like a scientist. A failed experiment still gives you valuable data. It's about persistence, not perfection. So the challenge here, think of a recent mistake, reframe it. What feedback did it actually give you? What did you learn?
From embarrassment to data. That's powerful. Make speaking feel safer, more experimental.
Exactly.
And building on that safety, not doing it alone. Tip 9, join English-speaking clubs or online groups. The source is clear. Don't try to do this alone.
Community is key.
It really is. Language learning can feel so isolating, especially if you're not in an English-speaking environment, but it doesn't have to be.
Technology helps hugely here.
Totally. Loads of Facebook groups, Discord servers, WhatsApp communities, places where learners like you get together, often weekly, just to practice.
Often peer-led, informal.
Yeah, often very informal. It's not just about the English practice, though. It's about being around others on the same path.
Shared journey, shared struggles.
Exactly. You motivate each other, share tips, laugh at mistakes together, grow together. It provides that consistent, low-pressure, high-support environment.
Crucial for sticking with it.
Definitely.
And this is social learning theory in action, isn't it? A supportive community offers so much. Accountability.
Yep. Knowing you've got a practice session scheduled.
Diverse perspectives from other learners, and crucially, that safe space to experiment without feeling judged.
Yeah, everyone's learning.
Shared goals reduce that isolation. It makes the whole process more enjoyable, more sustainable. The group energy fuels individual progress.
I can see that.
Plus, you get regular practice, structured or unstructured, and you learn from others' questions, their insights, their mistakes even. It's collective intelligence.
Makes it less lonely and more fun.
Exactly. The source nails it. Less lonely and a lot more fun. I'd suggest looking for groups based on your interests, too. Books, movies, work, hobbies makes it even more engaging.
Find your tribe. Great advice. Okay, final section number 5. Tech-aided practice and immersion.
Using the tools around us.
Right. Tip 10 is maybe a bit unexpected. Use voice assistants as speaking practice. Seriously.
Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant?
Yep, those guys. They aren't just for timers and weather. They can actually help you improve your pronunciation and clarity.
How does that work?
Well, try asking your phone, what's the weather? Or set a timer for 5 minutes. Or tell me a joke.
Okay.
The key is the feedback. If the AI misunderstands you...
It tells you right. Sorry, I didn't get that.
Exactly. That's your cue. Try again. Maybe slow down. Adjust your pronunciation. Emphasize a different syllable. They're like tiny micro conversations.
Low stakes, but immediate feedback.
Highly effective. They force clarity. The AI doesn't care about your accent, just intelligibility. Did it understand the command?
That's actually brilliant. It's immediate, unbiased feedback in a zero-pressure situation.
Right. No judgment from the AI.
It just processes sound waves, tells you if it worked or not. It's great repetitive practice for specific sounds, word stress, overall clarity, a purely functional test.
Builds that muscle memory again.
It does,
Yeah.
and trains you to focus consciously on being clear. Plus, it gets you comfortable speaking to technology, which is useful anyway.
Desensitizes you to speaking English aloud.
Yeah, even to a machine. And let's be honest, it's kind of cool practicing with AI. Easy way to squeeze in micro practice.
So, challenge. Use your voice assistant for one task today, focusing on clarity. See what happens.
Good challenge.
Okay, speaking of tech and immersion, tip 11 is super popular. Watch English shows and repeat the dialogues.
Ah, the Netflix method.
Exactly. Proof that screen time can be learning time. If you do it right. It's not passive.
It's got to be active.
Key point. The strategy. Choose a show with clear, natural dialogue. The source suggests things like Friends, The Office, Stranger Things, where the conversation's pretty casual, everyday speech.
Okay, relatable stuff.
Yeah. Watch with English subtitles first. Get the context, the vocab. Then here's the active part. Turn the subtitles OFF. Pause after a short line or exchange.
And then
Repeat it out loud with intention. Copy their style, their emotion, their speed, their intonation.
mimicry again, like shadowing, but with pause.
Exactly. You internalize not just words, but the rhythm, the cadence, the slang, the idioms. Stuff textbooks miss.
The real texture of the language.
Yeah. You'll be surprised how much you absorb, how much more natural your own English starts to sound. You laugh, you learn, you level up. It's productive entertainment.
And this hits on input quality. Shows give you authentic, contextualized language far better than artificial dialogue.
Real conversation.
Real idioms, slang, cultural bits. And this method integrates listening, pronunciation, intonation all at once. Mimicking helps internalize those natural rhythms crucial for sounding native-like.
Bridges the gap between grammar rules and how people actually talk.
Totally. And the big win is enjoyment. It's sustainable because you're using content you like, less like studying, more like engaging.
Keeps you coming back.
Exactly. Meaningful engagement. So pick a favorite scene, a character you like. Try mimicking just a few lines a day. Pay attention to how they speak, not just what.
Great practical advice. Okay, final tip number 12. This one kind of ties everything together. Create an English environment around you.
Immersion.
Total immersion is as much as possible. Yeah, you can't speak English fluently if you're barely exposed to it. So deliberately make English your environment, your background noise, your default.
How do you do that practically?
Well, the source suggests easy steps.
Oh.
Change your phone language to English. Change app settings. Follow English-speaking people or news on social media.
Switch your inputs.
Exactly. Watch English YouTube. Listen to English music, podcasts, audiobooks. Make it pervasive, almost inescapable.
So it's active study and passive exposure.
Both. Your brain picks up more than you realize, even passively. It's how kids learn their first language, total immersion, and it works for adults too. Creates that ecosystem for fluency.
This is basically language osmosis, isn't it? Constant exposure primes your brain. It links to Krashen's comprehensible input idea.
Right, language you mostly understand.
Yeah, even passive listening builds that foundation: sounds, rhythm, vocab, grammar. It reduces the cognitive effort over time. English feels less foreign.
Less like a puzzle, more natural.
Exactly. And the long-term implication is profound. A truly immersive environment makes English feel less like a second language and more, as the source says, like a part of you.
Oh, yeah. Like it integrates into your identity.
It shifts from an external tool to an internal lens. It becomes natural. So the challenge here, find 3 areas in your daily life where you can boost your English exposure, starting today. Music, news, hobbies online.
Every little bit adds up.
It compounds, absolutely.
So there we have it. Our deep dive into 12 really practical, but honestly, quite profound ways to boost your English-speaking confidence. Let's do a super quick recap.
Okay, rapid fire. Speak every day, even alone.
Think directly in English. Ditch the translation step.
Record yourself and listen back. Embrace the cringe.
Shadow native speakers, mimic their music.
Use language exchange apps. Connect with real humans.
Learn phrases, not just words. Use language chunks.
Speak in real-life situations. Jump in the water.
Accept mistakes. They're data, not failures.
Use voice assistants. Practice clarity with AI.
Watch shows and repeat dialogue. Learn from entertainment.
And create an English environment all around you. Immerse yourself.
Phew. And what's really key here, I think, is that these aren't just 12 separate tips.
No, they connect, don't they?
They form a whole ecosystem for learning.
Yeah.
Each one reinforces the others. It creates this virtuous cycle of practice, learning, confidence. Right. Speaking to yourself helps you think in English. Recording yourself helps you shadow better.
Exactly. So the question becomes, what happens when you combine a few of these consistently? The result is way more than the sum of its parts.
Transforms the whole process.
It really does. It makes it a continuous, rewarding journey. And thinking critically about how you learn, applying these strategies, that's your direct path.
So what does all this mean for you listening right now? It means speaking English confidently isn't some far-off dream.
It's
achievable. It's a skill you build. Brick by brick, practice by practice. It's totally within your reach. Just think. Applying just one or two of these consistently for the next month. How much could that change your comfort level, your opportunities?
It can be transformative.
So the big question we leave you with, which of these 12 tips will you start using today?
Remember, knowledge is great, but it's most valuable when you understand it deeply and actually apply it, integrate it.
Put it into action.
Exactly. There's always more to learn, different perspectives and rich things. But believe you have what it takes. Keep practicing. Keep speaking. And soon, really, sooner than you might think, English won't feel like this separate second language. It'll just feel like, well, like part of you.
Effortless.
Well,
authentic.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We really hope these insights spark something for you, give you practical tools for your journey.
Keep at it.
Until our next deep dive, keep learning, keep growing, and definitely keep speaking.